Yes. Oh, yeah, let's do that now. Pin. Oh, hang on. Did I pin myself or you?
I think you pinned yourself.
I did. Way to make it about
How
me.
nice.
Hang on. I think it might need to wait till there's a few more people in here. No, that's not work. That's not right because I pinned you the other day without other people in here.
I think I can pin me.
Oh, yeah. You pin you. All right, I will start letting people in. Is that recording? Yep, yeah, recording. Are you good to go?
All good.
Great. All right. Admit. Hello. Hello, Zoe, Abby, Louise. Great to see you here. Kelly's about to come in. Welcome to week 2 of the 12-week reset. We have the very lovely Brian joining us tonight. I am really so pleased that Brian is here with us. He is just a wealth of information and skill and learning, and he's just a great person to be around. Brian and I met during our breathwork facilitation course last year. He was already qualified and I was just learning the ropes, and then we went and did our level 2 advanced breathwork training together. And it was there I really got to learn a bit more about Brian and who he is as a professional and a human being as well. And you guys know that I have a really quite a unique approach to movement and women's well-being and fitness, in that we don't talk about weight loss, we don't really talk about movement for appearance sake, although that's fine if that's what you want to do. And Brian, I really like there's a unique approach that Brian has to chronic pain as well. So Brian is going to be talking us tonight about chronic pain, and then leading us through a really beautiful kind of like a meditation breath flow, and then you can ask questions whenever you want. And I'm just going to let a few more people in, and Brian, take it away.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It's always nice when you introduce me, Sally, because you've got such nice things to say. There was something you mentioned there, which I think it was on the tip of my tongue, and I've had a bit of a mind blank there. There was something you said about me, which I was like, I've never heard someone say, and I was going to touch on it, but it's left me.
It'll come back to you at the right time.
But yeah, super excited to talk all things pain today. I've got an interesting background coming from the physio side of things, and then going down breath work and hypno and kind of integrating that all in together. I think, yeah, it's come back to me in that train of thought. Just talking about, I guess, encompassing a whole person when talking about pain, because especially in the industry background from physio, seeing so many, I guess, seniors tackle the body as an independent, I guess, piece of meat almost, and not integrating the mind, who we are as people, all the experiences we go through in life, and bringing it all together. And I really, one of the things that I feel like I've done since going out into business on my own is being able to connect with people human to human. Whereas when I was in a clinic, it seemed very like medical, very like in and out, you know, and then, yeah, being able to work for myself and run a business, and that it's kind of like freedom to connect with people on a more deeper level, which I've found really helpful in the pain space, because that's what it seemed like people need. They need
100%.
more connection. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Before you dive into your presentation, Brian, I'm going to rudely interrupt you. Guys, you know we like these calls really to be interactive. So at any point, if you want to ask questions, you can come off mute or pop it in the chat. But what I'd like to ask first is, do any of you identify with having chronic pain? I know some of you do. I myself have had chronic pain for 15 years on and off. But just so Brian kind of knows, you know, the audience who he's speaking to, have any of you experienced chronic pain before? Yeah, Jazz is a big one. Jazz is a big one. Jazz, Kelly, yeah, Louise, Abby, yeah. So,
yeah.
Tried to come off mute then, and it took me 15 different taps. I was like, yeah, chronic pain, cool gang.
Well, I guess it's probably a good place to start in saying that even though this is, I guess, a passion of mine, I have never had chronic pain. And I say that to come from, I guess, a bit of an empathetic point of view, in that I can't empathize from a, you know, experience point of view. And from that point, everybody's experience is individual. I've worked with a lot of people in chronic pain. I've had acute bouts of severe pain, but I don't have the individual experience. And as such, I don't feel like it's my responsibility to tell any of you what to do. I kind of come from a working together, teamwork, guiding, offering, I guess, research and experience from working with other people with similar conditions and putting that all together, and coming from more of a collaborative approach. Cool. Well, I might share my screen and get started. Please interrupt me as we go.
Oh, no. And guys, just to give you a heads up, we probably will run closer to the hour mark tonight. Do not leave early. Brian's got some really cool stuff right to the end.
All right. Now I've just got to, the hardest part for me tonight is getting this all set up so I can see my screen and see all your faces.
Yes.
And we did it yesterday.
We did. Guys, just give us a thumbs up if you can see Brian's presentation. Great. Thank you.
All right. That's not what I want.
I'm gonna put on some hold music. So if you guys, while Brian's just pottering around with that, if you guys don't know, I have had chronic back pain since I was about 19, and it just went unexplained. So I've told a lie. Chronic wrist pain. Forgot where it was. Since I was about 19, and I went to all of the different hand surgeons, wrist surgeons, physiotherapists, Reiki people, you know, all the different people, spent tons and tons of money, and it was really depressing, to be honest, for a lot of my life. It would really sink into my my mental health, my physical health, and my identity. And never was I able to meet a health professional who was really compassionate and who was able to understand me as a person and not just what was going on in my wrist. And that's ultimately why I've brought Brian here tonight, is because I have a long time lived experience with chronic pain and how it can feel when health professionals dismiss you. And Brian takes a completely different approach. So Brian, please carry it away.
Cool. So I've just got some questions here to start with, and I'd love if we could either jump off mute or put it in the chat, some of the answers to these questions. The aim of this is just to get our minds flowing a little bit about, I guess, maybe a bit of the mindset or the psychology behind pain and how it's impacting our life. So I guess before pain became part of your life, how did you see yourself? Has that changed since? Any thoughts around that?
So guys, let us know in the chat, or someone come off mute, put on your brave pants.
I like it. Has that changed? Do you still feel bulletproof? Not so much. Absolutely. Yeah. And so there's a pattern forming here straight away. which is fairly common, and that's when we feel pain, we don't feel bulletproof, we don't feel capable, we feel limited, felt normal. And there's a little flow chart that I'll show you shortly, which puts this all into perspective, I suppose, as to why and how. So what have you stopped doing to protect your body from pain? And what were you hoping that protection would give you? And did it give you what you hoped? Cool. All right, I'll move on. Does pain always mean damage? What do you think? Does pain always mean something's damaged? Give me a yes or a no. Can you have pain without damage? Yep, Jazz, not for you. And if pain does mean damage, just have a think. What's currently damaged that's causing your pain?
Jazz, you do have a pretty unique situation if you want to come off mute and talk to Brian about it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I've told you, Brian. I think I've told you, Brian. But for the rest of the group, I had cancer when I was 22, so I had a bone tumor. So it was called an osteosarcoma. So kind of like a localized tumor, but of the bone in my knee, and it got cut out, and so much bone and muscle got taken out and replaced with this big titanium hinge. So that meant that I was always, limited mobility, weaker, along with just the pain of having titanium instead of bone and all of that kind of thing, surgery pain. And so my pain used to be all in my knee, but then pretty soon from my altered gait, the way I walk on a locked knee, I ended up with most of my pain that I notice daily is actually my hip. So it's kind of that condensed muscle and tight joint. But then when I do get really good massage and that pain goes away for a second, then I can feel my knee again. So but yeah, so that kind of like pain meaning, it's like the fix for me was, the fix is just not as good as being, fully human. Being a bit robotic is not ideal, so it's painful.
Totally. Thanks for sharing that. And it's kind of leading us on to the answer that I've got on the screen there, where pain and damage are not exactly equal. And for a lot of us, there is damage to start with. That's how the pain starts, but it becomes so much more than that. It's not as simple as just the muscles or the bones or the ligaments. And so many people experience this. There's so many surgeries that happen every day where people think it's going to be the fix that they need. They spend all this money and then they've still got pain, if not worse, because they've now got the surgical pain on top of everything. So we've got a definition here: an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with or resembling that of actual or potential tissue damage. So there could be tissue damage, there could potentially be tissue damage, or the brain might only think there could be tissue damage. So complex. So this is the pain cycle that a lot of people experience. You experience pain, you avoid activity that leads to deconditioning, weakness. You avoid activity because of pain. you get more pain, which then leads to the psychosocial factors: anger, anxiety, low mood, depression. Our perception of pain increases, and then we just follow this cycle around and around and around and around. And getting off this hamster wheel is the key to be able to make any kind of meaningful recovery. And that means we have to target from different ways. We need to be looking at the body, but we also need to be looking at the mind, our thoughts, what we're thinking about ourselves, our pain, to be able to holistically make some change. So a little bit of how we and why we get pain. So pain is a defense mechanism. The whole purpose of pain is to stop us getting damage. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is to squeeze your earlobe, and just squeeze it until it starts to hurt a little bit. So pinch it. And when it starts to hurt a little bit, stop. And I want you to tell me, do you think you just damaged your ear?
No.
Yet we got pain, correct?
Yes.
So why do we have pain if we don't have damage? I just told you, to protect us. So we've got this little buffer zone here that you can see. We've got a protection by pain. We get a stimulus or an activity, then we get pain. But we've got this little buffer before we actually injure ourselves. And the whole purpose is to stop us getting injured. I've got a little story. So I was playing cricket. I don't know why. I hope my kids don't play cricket as a parent. But I got hit and a ball got me right on the thumb. And I didn't feel anything. And I was walking around and I was doing this weird thing that cricketers do in between balls. You might have seen it. We clap our hands and we cheer the bowler on and we tell people to walk in and we say, come on, stay motivated, keep up the energy, we're going to get a wicket. It's really silly. I don't know why. And as I was clapping, I looked down and there's blood all down my hand, just bleeding out. I've split the webbing between my thumb and my index finger. So I'm like, okay, I need to get off the field and get to a hospital and get some stitches. So that's what I did. Drove to the hospital, got into the emergency department, and the nurse saw me and she was about to do the stitches. And she's like, oh, I better double check with the doctor. The doctor came in, got my thumb and went, all the way around the other side. And I'm not talking that little, the little flexibility trick, not that way. I'm talking like it shouldn't go. Like, that's my limit now. And it went, and he's like, does that hurt? And I was like, no, I can't feel a thing. And he's like, that's not good. You've completely torn the ligament off the bone, what we call skier's thumb. So what he said, he's like, we'll book in a surgery for about next week or the week after. We'll stitch you up. We'll sort it out. You'll be sweet. So he got a little saline syringe and he put it on the wound. He put it on the wound, and that was the most pain I've ever experienced. A little bit of saline on that little cut. I nearly jumped out of the chair. It was insane. And it's an interesting thing, right? Because the motion or the mechanism that caused me a pretty significant injury caused me no pain, but the saline solution designed to clean it that is not damaging anything caused me significant pain. So what happens when you've had pain for a longer period is our buffer zone gets a lot larger, and our body's basically protecting us too much. So a little bit of stimulus causes our pain mechanisms to fire, and we're so far away from any damage. So far away. And what happens with people who have had pain for years and years and years and years and years and don't learn exactly why or how or what is going on is they think that movement or anything that causes the pain is actually causing damage, therefore making the pain worse, so they do less. But in reality, that's just exaggerating this buffer zone. As per the cycle before, we get weaker, we fear movement, we do things that avoid making us feel like we're capable and strong and resilient. So then this buffer zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and our body protects us more and more and more, trying to do the right thing, but in reality, making the situation worse. So once we kind of understand this, our goal is to reduce the buffer zone. If we can reduce the buffer zone, then we can do more before our body responds with a pain signal. Because as I said at the start, pain it's a warning signal. It's a preventative, it's a protection, it's an alarm system. If we think of like a car alarm, right? And the car alarm, we've got this brand new car, we park it, and someone tries to break into the car. The car alarm goes off. The next time you park the car, someone walks past the car alarm goes off. They're not trying to break into the car. Then the car starts to learn this, and then all of a sudden someone's walking 10 meters away from the car and the alarm's going off. There's no risk of someone breaking into the car, no risk of damage, but the car's hypersensitive. The car is trying to protect itself. Now, this is a bit of a weird example, I suppose, but it's a similar kind of mechanism that's going on in our brain. The brain learns the skill of pain. Every time you get pain, there are signals going from your brain to that area of your body, reinforcing that pathway, reinforcing that protection.
Brian, can I jump in here really quick? I just want to talk about that word hypersensitive. Now, I know that sometimes in the past when I've been called sensitive, I've taken it as to mean a weakness, and that's not what Brian is referring to at all. I know that you're talking about a physiological response, right? So I just want to make sure we really untangle any emotional attachment maybe to the word sensitive or hypersensitive, in that where Brian's coming from. He's not talking about a sense of weakness at all. He's talking about your body's response. Am I right in saying
Absolutely.
that? Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And a lot of this that I'm bringing to you is from facts and figures and stats and logic, and the emotion is kind of out of it in this part. Emotion has a massive part in how we experience our pain in everyday life. But yeah, thanks for picking up on that. How do we reduce the buffer? So understanding your pain. So I guess I could go deep into this, hours and hours, but you may get bored. If you don't get bored, maybe we can chat further at some point. But also it's just a little bit of an introduction as well. But starting to understand the way the pain is manifested. Movement is so important. And I use this word movement really intentionally instead of exercise or strength training, which we know is really important. But the psychological side of that word, I've found, can be really limiting for some people, because they go, well, I've tried exercise and my pain flares up and it doesn't work. So it's just about movement. It's about starting where you're at, starting somewhere, letting your body adapt, and then slowly build up. And there's, so many examples of this where it seems counterintuitive, but it works. So total hips and knees, people are walking on the same day. I've actually been in a surgery where someone's had a hip replacement. 2 hours later, I was in their room getting them up to go walking, which, after seeing someone literally cut through their leg with a bone saw and then having to go in and get them up, I'm like, this feels really cruel. Really, really cruel. But yet we do it and it works, and people are discharging and having better recoveries than ever. Previously, people would rest for 2 weeks, and then they have knees and hips that don't move. Cardiac surgery, literally open heart surgery, exercise to increase the strength of your heart. I want to read some of these comments. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and say, who was up and walking within a few hours of having a baby here? right? And, you know, giving birth can be one of the most painful experiences a human can endure. Yet we keep doing it.
I'm interested to know if there's been any studies on like men versus females, like pain thresholds. Have there, Brian? Do we know?
I'm not sure about that, but I do know that there is a insane swing to people who get chronic pain on the female side. And in the science world, there's no reasons. I have my theories about this, which we can talk about.
Could you clarify what you mean by that, Brian? Do you mean that more women have chronic pain, or what do you mean by what you just said about women and chronic pain?
Well, more women, yeah, the stats suggest more women have chronic pain. Now, you could argue that maybe that's more women will outwardly tell people they've got chronic pain for a study, and men may hide it. I don't think that's the case in this. I think genuinely women experience chronic pain more. I think it comes from, look, there's always outliers. I think a large proportion of women who have pain are women who have been mums. They've carried the brunt of the house. They've sacrificed their life, everything they've done. They've not taken time for themselves. And then their nervous system is fried, and either the kids move out and they just take a breath and then all of a sudden everything hits them like a ton of bricks, or they've been doing it for so long they just can't do it anymore. Yeah, they don't take time for themselves. I've seen it time and time again with women in their 40s, 50s, 60s who felt like they should be enjoying these years, but now they're suffering and they can't. So I guess the importance there would be placed on, taking time for yourself, doing things for yourself. Everybody's situation's different, but there's so many negative consequences in what is a normalized situation for mums and women. Yeah, walking after bilateral knee replacements. I worked with on an orthopedic ward for 2 years, and I was a very mean physio for all of that. But yeah, I'll just highlight this line here. Rest does not result in positive adaptations in the body, ever. It can, for a short term, allow things to calm down a little bit, but it doesn't ever result in positive adaptations. The body always adapts to a little bit of stress, whether that's physical, emotional, whatever it may be, a little bit of stress, and then rest, recover, go again. Little bit of stress in
Right.
all. Yeah.
Is that just in the physical pain kind of exercise world, or is that because I was just thinking sickness is rest? Does the body still adapt? Have negative adaptations if you're resting due to sickness like flus, etc.?
So I guess I'm not an immunologist or anything like that. I'll preface it. There are definitely benefits to movement when you're sick in terms of blood flow, getting fresh air into the lungs, like a lot of simple natural things that are healthy for us. I would say that when you're sick, your body potentially is already in an overstressed, overwhelmed state. So if you're adding an extra stressor to that, then that's not going to be healthy. That's probably a point where we've overdone it and we need to be in the rest, recover phase. But I still think some movement is helpful. But if we think of the two different kind of phases we want to be in, is providing an intentional stressor to the body and then adapting and recovering. If the stressor is too much, then that's where we have negative things like pain, injury. For me, if I push myself too hard in the gym, I will get sick. Like that's how I respond when I overdo it. I'll get sick, and that's my body going, hey, Brian, put your head in. You're doing too much. you haven't really been sleeping very well with the kids, you know, you're working hard, maybe you didn't eat very well today, then you push yourself to the limit, and we're going to tell you what to do. We're going to force you to stop. So this is listen.
Oh, I think
Into the recovery that you need to do. Maybe it's a...
We're good. We lost you for a bit. We got you back.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, so an intentional stress, then recover, and finding where the limit is, finding where your limits are, and not overdoing it. For people in pain, I find like cleaning the house is too much. Like vacuuming, that is, and this gets us on to the next slide. I'll talk this and then I'll talk about what I was going to say. So common thing people hate, it's all in my head because we're talking about how the brain impacts our pain. But the brain is the central point for every experience we have. Every sense goes through the brain, right? So let me explain. What should we do? I'm going to reach out and touch my computer. Touch my computer. The feeling of me touching my computer is triggered through nerves in my fingers. That signal gets sent up to my brain. My brain processes the signal, sends that signal back down and goes, oh yeah, that feels like what we know is touching your computer. When we have pain, let's say we roll our ankle, signals get sent up to the brain goes, okay, yep, okay, send it back down. You've rolled your ankle, you've damaged, let's send some pain out. So there's no like, and it gets really deep. Like I'm halfway through post-grad studies in pain science. So it gets really deep and really complex, and there's so many different ways. It's like a big puzzle piece where a signal gets sent to the spinal cord, a signal gets sent to this part, the brain, and it all works together. But basically, the brain controls everything. And so it isn't all in your head, but it is all from a piece of the body that is in your head when it comes to pain. So that's where we bring in breathwork and hypnotherapy, because we're trying to take control of the way the mind, the brain is perceiving stimulus so that we can, I guess, without in fear of using this word, desensitize our response to stimulus. And once again, I don't mean that in like an emotional or a weak way. It's just the fact that literally our system is more likely to respond with a higher pain signal from the same situation to another person. Any questions on this so far? I'm moving quickly because we've got a lot to fit in an hour. Have I missed any questions in the chat? If I lay in bed too long, I get a sore lower back. Absolutely. Absolutely. So movement is so important. If we don't move, we get stiff, we get sore. Pain comes from that lack of movement. So many people I see with like neck pain because they stand in front of their desk or they sit in front of their desk all day like this, and then they go home and they start trying to move and it's so stiff and they're like, my neck is aching, it's so sore. And it's like, yeah, because you haven't moved it. In the same way that, like, let's say a door, if you didn't open and close a door for a long period of time, it would get squeaky and creaky and stiff, and you'd need to put some WD-40 in the door. Movement helps to lubricate all our joints.
Do you have WD-40 for our joints?
Your body produces it naturally.
Damn it. Okay.
And all you need to do is move. Just some gentle movement. So like, for example, like someone who has neck pain, right? One of the first things I'll do is let's try and do as much movement as possible without aggravating your pain. Because we know, right, that if we're aggravating the pain, we're reinforcing those pain signals. We're reinforcing the skill of pain. We're increasing that kind of system. So we want to find, all right, if you move your head that far, it hurts. If we move it that far, you're okay. So let's just try and do as much movement like this as we can. Just a small range. And we're going to do that for 3 months, if that's what is required, before we progress on a little bit. We're not going to do that for a week and then try and progress really quickly. Thank you, Zoe. Synovial fluid. So starting smaller than you think you need and doing that for a long period of time and then slowly building up. Now, one of the hardest things or one of the challenges, I suppose, is that doing just that movement might also cause some pain. That might cause some pain like DOMS that you would get in the gym, like delayed muscle soreness, because you perhaps have avoided doing any neck movements because you know that it causes you pain. So instead of doing a little bit, you just go, well, I'm going to do none. So therefore, when you first start doing it, you might get a little bit of pain from that exercise, which is one of the really tricky things about working out what pain is the chronic pain, the really significant pain that you're dealing with on a day-to-day, and being able to go, okay, I've got a little bit of a flare-up, but I'm within controlled limits. I just need to do this for a short period of time, allow my body to adapt, and then it's going to be okay. And this is where working with someone who you trust is really important.
I'm going to jump in quickly and, guys, give you a really quick visual example of why movement is so important and avoiding movement that hurts is so damaging. Remember I talked about I'd had chronic wrist pain since I was 19. Well, this is how my left wrist flexes. This is how my right one does. And that's because I was so afraid of moving it that just over 22 years, it just slowly, I can't pull this wrist back anymore. And I don't get pain there anymore, but because I didn't move it, I protected it too much, it's resulted in me not being able to lift this hand up as much as I should be able to anymore. And Brian, I'm going to say Google's going to kick us out right on 7:30. So I'll shut up now and stop interrupting.
All right. So breath work helps with our nervous system, being able to regulate, being able to, I was speaking about the stresses of potentially motherhood and that kind of thing, being able to regulate our nervous system. Hypnotherapy, we're trying to take control of our subconscious mind. So our subconscious mind in pain is trying to protect us. So we're trying to change the narrative there from what our subconscious is believing about us, so that we can have more of a base to work from in our recovery. So key takeaways for pain: finding the limit without flare-ups, avoiding the boom-bust cycle, which is, having a period of flare-ups, days where you can't do much, and then you finally get a good day, and then you go hell for leather, do everything you can, and then you're back on the couch struggling again, which obviously sounds counterintuitive, but when it comes to practicalities of life, so many people do it. I kind of spoke about the car analogy, but do you have pain because someone's walking 10 meters away from your car or because they're trying to break in? Same alarm sounding, but only one person is able to determine why. So when you're doing activity, workout, is this actually a painful activity that's going to cause a flare-up? Or are you just doing something new that is controlled and you know it's going to be safe and you just need to be patient, do that for a long time and slowly build up? Oh. Any questions? All right, I'm going to stop sharing.
Guys, it's probably not often you get the chance to be in the room with someone who really understands chronic pain well. And I know a lot of you in here have some chronic pain. So I know that you'll get the most out of these calls when you speak up and when you ask questions. And remember, in these calls, there is no judgment. There is no, we are here to help you, and Brian can help you understand your pain better. So if you're like, I don't know if I want to ask that question, just bloody well ask it, okay? Put on your big girl pants and do it.
I have a question, Brian. So do you get a lot of clients who feel like they've been medically gaslit with their chronic pain?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's a very common thing. I don't have an answer. There's probably a lot of theories we could say why, but that probably doesn't help at all. Unfortunately, it's just part of the medical system at the moment, how it is. And it probably adds to a lot of the fear, the frustration, the thoughts that it's never going to improve. And also that concept of it all being in your head, from a, less of a logical way, more of a emotional, there's nothing wrong kind of way.
Because I'm guessing that the women who've historically been medically gaslit, say about like endometriosis pain or something like that, I'm guessing those doctors that were seeing them weren't talking like you're talking about the brain, the neural pathways. Like I'm imagining that for the majority of cases, they were coming from more of a, it's probably in your head, here's some ibuprofen kind of perspective, because they weren't pain, they're not necessarily pain specialists, are they?
No. And everybody has their biases based on what they do. Like if you see a doctor, they're going to say, here's some pain meds or some surgery. If you see a psychologist, they're going to do what they do. If you see a chiro, they're going to say, I'm going to crack your back. Everybody has their inherent biases, and everybody thinks what they do works, but not everything works for everybody. Other movements that can prevent the occurrence of bursitis. So bursitis, inflammation of the bursa. I would say there's a couple of things. So you can get bursitis for probably 3 ways, I would say. So you can get it from like a acute flare-up. So that could be, depending on the area, a fall in the shoulder can be common, in the lower leg, doing activity that you haven't done in a while, so like doing too much too soon. And then you can also have it from like, I guess, general health. So like it's an inflammation condition. So if you've got high inflammation levels in your body, then that can, have a higher risk factor for developing, inflammation in different areas of the body. Gentle movement, certain specific, in terms of like specific exercises, depend, like what type of bursitis are we talking? Hip bursitis. So I'd be looking at things like shoes, like footwear, what type of activity you're doing, like are you going for walks on concrete versus grass versus hills versus inclines? What is your like quad strength versus your glute strength like? We could get really nuanced here. In terms of there's probably no specific exercises. It's all individual. But there's lots of things that we could be doing to help it from a specific exercise point of view. Does that help?
Louise, we gotta grow them glutes, girlfriend. We gotta get you strong butts. All of you. Strong butts for everyone.
On the topic of inflammation, what is the difference there with if say a joint is inflamed, then what's the approach? Or for example, like in a really, in an extreme example, you've just rolled your ankle, then because all the protocols have changed, haven't they? Or they're leaning away from the ice thing, and it's like, so is movement good if there's actual acute inflammation?
Yes. Yeah. So movement results in circulation, which is blood flow to and from the area. But it's all in kind of, it depends. So like if you've rolled your ankle, I'm not going to suggest you go for a 30-minute walk. But what I would suggest is you sit on the end of your bed with your foot in the air doing some gentle, up and downs, and then some ankle circles.
So that would be even after you've done it, not that kind of like old school strap it, ice it, keep it still for ages kind of approach?
I wouldn't be icing.
Yeah.
Compression, yes. Elevation, yes.
Yeah.
Movement, yes.
Wow. Cool.
But yeah, ice is, yeah, as you say, ice is, even the bloke who invented rice, which I'm sure we all, not like literally the bloke who invented the food that we eat, rice, but the concept of rest, ice, compression, elevation. He invented it like, I can't remember, don't quote me, but I think it was like the 70s. And he's come out recently and he said, yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah, we are very familiar with that that trajectory of advice. But it is funny because it's confusing because the ice is out in rice, but ice is in for mastitis. So FYI, everybody.
Yes, cold packs are in, yes.
Yeah. So
Personal, well, not personal, but in the household, I was trying to remember that is a recent thing that has been going through the house.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that. Good tips.
Yeah, no, all good. So yeah, ice, I'll go just a little bit on that. Yeah, ice can delay healing time for acute injuries.
What about heat?
Yeah, so heat is, I'll just say one more thing on ice. Ice can help with pain though. That's still in, it just delays healing. So there is a little bit both ways with that. There is a mechanism where ice can help with pain. So keeping that in mind. Heat isn't recommended in an acute injury because it increases blood flow, and basically that can also delay healing by having increased swelling. So it's basically just trust the process of the body knows how to heal and we don't need to intervene. So just let the body heal and don't make it worse, and do the things that we know are going to help recovery in the longer term, which is making sure we don't lose any strength, making sure we're not getting weaker in the other leg, making sure we're kind of doing things that are not going to make us feel like we're never going to get better, catastrophizing the injury. Heat is really good for longer chronic type conditions, for pain relief, increasing blood flow, similar things to what exercise would do. Feels nice, but in an acute injury, I wouldn't be recommending heat either. So ice is like a maybe if you really need it for pain, but it's not going to help with recovery. It'll probably delay it. Heat will delay it too. Yeah, so that would be where I sit with that. We are running out of time, Sally. What would you like to do?
I reckon let's use this time that we have left and let's take everyone through a really nice slow breath flow, and I think do a little bit about the pain control room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, all good. Okay.
So if you like, we could, if everyone's ready to close down their eyes and just get yourselves nice and comfortable. It's going to be a little shorter than what Brian usually does, but that's okay. We'll make it work.
When this kicks us out, we can't kind of come back in, can we?
Hold that thought. I'm gonna workshop that problem. We'll just get these guys started, and then we should be okay. And I'll let you know if we need to stop right on 7:30 or not.
If you hear me stop talking,
it's because we've all gone. Brian, would you like me to put on
a little bit of music?
Yeah, I'll pop on the music. So guys, you just get yourselves really comfortable, and I will let Brian take you through a beautiful slow breath flow.
Thank you, Sally.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's good. So guys, just allowing yourself to get comfortable. If you feel safe enough in the environment you're in, closing your eyes down, letting your breathing come and go nice and naturally, in and out. With every breath that you take in, feeling safe, feeling calm. Taking a big breath in, and as you breathe out, letting go of any external tension. Feel the muscles in your face, your eyes relaxing down, going loose, limp, so loose, so limp, so relaxed. Sending that same relaxation all the way down through the rest of your body, through your arms, through your legs. In a moment, I'm going to count from 10 down to 1. And this will allow your mind to take you much deeper, much more relaxed. Here we go. 10, 9, deeper down. 8, 7, 6, 5. More relaxed with each breath. 4, 3, 2, all the way down, and 1. In a moment, I'm going to ask each of you to slowly count backwards from 100, saying the numbers out loud, allowing your relaxation to double every number you say. So I'll show you first, and then you can do it when I ask. 100, breathing in and out after every number. 99, 98, 97, and by the time you've said just a few numbers, we're just going to allow those numbers to relax right out of your mind. Just intend it to happen. Intend those numbers to disappear. So start counting, please, out loud, backwards from 100. Doubling your mental relaxation. Let those numbers go. And as those numbers disappear now, I want you to imagine that you're in a beautiful garden. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. There's a clear blue sky with a single puffy white cloud slowly drifting by. As it passes overhead, it begins to get smaller and smaller, floating away into the distance. Just watching that cloud slowly disappear. Imagining yourself rising up from your body now, rising up out of where you are in the room, looking down on yourself, just internally thinking about what you see when you look down at yourself. How do you look? How do you feel? What do you notice about yourself? What about your pain? What do you notice about your pain? Thinking about those questions at the start, things we used to be able to do, how we used to feel. What do you see? And then coming back down into your body now. Taking a moment to really notice where you experience the pain. We've all got some pain in us. It might be physical pain, injury, aching. It might be emotional pain, hurt, loss, maybe grief. Pain is a part of the human experience, but it doesn't need to hold us back. It doesn't need to control us. It doesn't need to control you. Now, anything that causes you pain will manifest from an area in your body. You may notice that even though your back aches, it manifests from your chest space. Just notice where the pain that you experience, where you notice it, where in your body. Take a moment to find the location of your pain. That sensation, you know where it is, you know where it feels, what it feels like. Now, not just yet, but very shortly, not just yet, you're going to reach in and you're going to pull out the pain. You're going to pull it out, hold it up, and hold it out. Let's go. Pull it out, hold it up, hold it out. And just imagine what color it is in your own mind. What does it look like? What size is it? Golf ball, tennis ball, cricket ball, football, a fridge, a house? Is it heavy? Is it light? Maybe it has a sound. It might be screeching, barking, roaring. It's probably been in there so long it stinks. If it had a smell, what would it smell like? Now the question I have is why? Not why does it look like that or smell like that or feel like that, but why are you holding on to it? What you're holding on to may be limiting you, suppressing you, weighing you down, holding you back. Just like the decision to hold on to it, so is the decision to let it go. So not just yet, but when you're ready, throw it, drop it, smash it, whack it, whatever you want to do. You might do it immediately, it might take a while. But remember, this pain that is slowly or rapidly built up over time has limited your ability to maximally experience love and happiness and good health and activity and movement and strength and capacity and the ability to do all the things that you love to the maximum ability you can. So if you haven't already, when you're ready, throw it, drop it, smash it, get rid of it. And when it's gone, take a big breath in. Breathe into the space where it was. Fill that space up with every breath that you take, nice and deep. And imagine there is a light shining in front of you, a healing light. Whatever color you see is right for you. And with every breath you take, that light grows bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. Might be up to your knees, then up to your waist, and then encompassing all of you, touching your face, engulfing your body. And the next breath you take, you notice the light entering through your nostrils, through your mouth, breathing in this healing light, this healing energy, allowing it to flow through your bloodstream, through your body, wherever it needs to go, filling up the space that once was, but is now filled with healing light and energy, taking up any empty space. One final deep breath. Feeling calm, feeling safe, feeling capable. And as we drift out of this image, I'd like you to imagine now that you're walking down a softly lit hallway. And at the end of the hall is a door, glowing red. And you see a sign above it, and it reads Control Room. And when you're ready, walk up to the door, open it, step through, and gently close the door behind you. And as you take in the room around you, you notice that it feels familiar, supportive. This is your personal control room, the place where your body and mind communicate, where regulation and balance are restored, and where healing begins. In front of you is a large control panel filled with softly lit buttons, dials, switches. And at the top of the panel is your name, shining clearly, reminding you that this space belongs entirely to you. So take a seat. Take a seat at the panel and just look a little bit closer. To the left, you see a large dial labeled Resilience. Noticing where it's set. And just gently start to turn it up to the level that helps you feel strong enough to face your days with grace, even when it's hard. Next to that, you see another dial. This one says Physical Ease. This dial doesn't deny your condition, but it helps to regulate your pain, tension, fatigue. It gives your body permission to soften, to soothe. So turn it up to a setting that feels right for you. Above those, there's a small screen showing your nervous system, constantly working to keep you safe. And just below it a button labeled Calm and Repair. So push the button, feeling your system starting to shift a little, ever so little, releasing from stress, moving into more calm. This is a state where healing is more possible. Down to the lower middle of the panel, you notice some glowing dials. One for hope, one for self-compassion, one for acceptance, one for trust in the healing process. You can turn each of these up one by one. No need to force it, just guiding your body and mind towards peace and strength. Now, just to the side of this, you'll find one labeled pain sensitivity. Pain is our body's alarm system, a way to protect us. Often it protects us too much, the ultimate protection. But this doesn't help. So notice where that dial is currently pointing. And just turn it down a little, however much feels right for you. And as you do this, just whisper to yourself, thanks for protecting me, but I can take it from here.
Thanks for protecting me. I can take it from here.
Over to the far right, there's a locked panel labeled Future Possibilities. Only you hold the key. So if you're ready, you can unlock it now and see a gentle glowing dial underneath. Potential. The possibility for new solutions, new understanding, better days. Even the smallest turn of that dial is enough. Just enough to keep your heart open to what can be. So take a moment to look around the control panel. Is there anything that sticks out for you? Anything that feels out of alignment? Anything that needs adjusting? This is your space. Anything can be tuned, reset, gently supported. So just take a moment. Just give a little nod to yourself when you're done. Wonderful. And just imagine yourself standing up, taking one last look at the control panel, knowing that your body, your system, your mind are all working with you. They're all on the same page. You're adapting, adjusting, finding your own way to move forward. Exiting the room now, closing the door behind you, and just know that you can return to this space at any time. All you need to do is get comfortable, close your eyes, just imagine the hallway leading you back to the lightly glowing red door. And you're in control. So leave that scene now, feeling grounded, supported, and imagine yourself moving forward in time. Later today, tomorrow, a week, a month. Just find a moment in time that feels right for you. Feel yourself hovering above that room, watching you go about your day to day. You might be making breakfast. You might be going to a session with Sally. You might be taking a moment for yourself, because we know how important that is. And just see yourself going about your life in the future with these settings that you've adjusted, quietly working in the background, noticing how you move, how you respond, how your body supports you. Perhaps you feel more ease in transitions. Perhaps you feel more space in your response, more trust in your ability to recover, more trust in your body to heal, to move. These challenges still come and go, but you're able to meet them differently. And it's so very positive and comforting to know that you are the one that's made these changes. You're the one that understands more, and you're the one who can take control. You take control of your body, your mind, making choices that you know support your health, strength, vitality, recovery, moving your body in a way that feels right for you, hydration, strength, in a way that allows you to live the life you want. Nutrition that gives you energy. Maybe you stretch and meditate after a long day. You get a massage when you need one. You get a massage when you want one. You just get a massage. Perhaps it's all these things. Perhaps it's more. You know what's right for you, what you need, because you have an innate awareness of your body, your being. You know what you can handle. You know where your capacity is, and you protect your capacity. And you know that in order to support others, you need to have a full cup. But not only do you have a full cup, you're that top cup, that top glass of a champagne tower. And your ability to make the right decisions for you result in an endless overflow for all those champagne glasses below you. And you still get to maintain your full cup. So bringing your awareness back into your body now. Feeling the chair or the bed beneath you. Noticing the air around you. Noticing your breath. The subtle sounds in the room. In a moment, I'm going to count from 5 down to 1. And when I count 5, your eyes will open and you'll be wide awake, safe to continue your day. 1, relaxation leaving your body. 2, energy rising up through your arms and legs. 3, taking a big deep breath in, feeling so good. 4, wiggling your fingers and toes, having a bit of a stretch, moving your body, doing what feels right. And 5, opening your eyes, feeling good.
Wow, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. Team, I'd love to know, what was your biggest takeaway from Brian's beautiful session tonight? You can come off mute or pop it in the chat.
I'll tell you before I have to go. I can hear the kids screaming. The taking the pain from the body and holding it there and like looking at what it looked like. And when you said, why haven't you let it go? And I was like, oh, this is weird, because a moment before you said, why haven't you let it go? I was like, oh, mine's not stinky and ugly, and it's like, it's hard, but it's kind of cool. And then you were like, why haven't you let it go? I was like, oh no, mine is my pet. Like, and it was weird. And I was like, yeah. And I was having a really good look at analyzing that. And yeah, so that was really interesting. And then I did let it go. But yeah, it was funny before that.
No, I think that's amazing. Thanks for sharing. It's an interesting kind of deep dive into how we are on a really deep subconscious level, because our identity is shaped by so many things. And for a lot of us, or for a lot of people who have pain, they've had it for so long and it's so much a part of their identity that it just feels normal. So it can be a little bit confronting to experience that. Like you say, it's like, well, I'm not ready. I didn't know we were going to be doing this. It's like, it's part of me. But then it just comes back to the question, like, what is best for us moving forwards?
Yeah, it was very cool. All right, I've got to run because, yeah, they're carrying on. Okay, but thank you.
Thanks, Jazz.
Sure thing. Let's get one more person. Would love you guys to share what your biggest takeaway is from tonight. Abby, Louise, Carol, or Stacey, you still with us? I love it. Come off mute or pop something in the chat.
I liked the control room. I never kind of thought of it as a control room before. I just switched the dials up full. I was like, she's going to have a good week this week.
Give me everything.
I was like, we're going to go full speed.
100%. I'm the same.
Yeah, that control room piece is really powerful for both chronic pain, but also just any aspects of your life, right, that you're struggling with. Really cool stuff. Thank you so much, Brian, for your time tonight. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm part of a group that I kind of alluded to before that work with people in chronic pain. So if you are someone, I'll just look at this question. The resilience dial was already on full, but the self-compassion needed to be turned up. Awesome. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, if you know anybody or you yourself would like a holistic approach to pain, that's, dietitian, psychologist, myself as a physio, working with the GP. I'm part of a company called Pain Educate and Manage. So you can find us there. I work with people kind of one-on-one separately through my own business, Paragon Physio and Performance. So I don't know, Sally, whether you want to send links out at a later date, but you can find me through these websites or on Instagram at Brian_Sanders or at the Mindful Cricketer. I've got a fair few things going on. A lot of people. So,
I'll drop Brian's details in our 12-week reset messenger chat. And of course, I'm all going to see you probably within the next 48 hours. So, Brian would be absolutely fantastic to work with if that's something you want to do. Big thank you again, Brian. Everyone give Brian a round of applause or do your thumbs up or whatever electronic. If Stacey's come off mute, very good. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful sleep and we'll see you later on in the week. Thanks, Brian.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Well done. That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was really good. I really liked that. The grabbing the pain. That was like a bit more punchy than the than one I've done before with you. It was good.
Yeah, no, love it. If anybody wants to chat further or just ask questions, like, they can just let them know that they can just reach out. And, some people just want to speak one-to-one.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I've got, free 15-minute consult or like,
Okay.
what would you call like discovery calls or whatever. But like, I can just jump on a Zoom and chat to people briefly if they'd like it. So.
All right, I'll let them know. All right, mate. Thanks again for your time. That was really, really good. I had a bit of a vision of myself of while we were doing that, of us leading, like doing a bigger breathwork event with you, me, and my sister. My sister's just become qualified.
Yeah, I saw
We'll
that. How
see.
good.
Yeah. All right, mate. You go go and say hello to Caitlin for me, and I wish you and the kiddos a decent night's sleep.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks,
Great to
mate.
see you again.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.